Okay guys, my favorite part about the Power Wheel is how it hauls gravel and logs, and it's really nice, it's easy. All you really need to do is hit the pedal and just go. And thanks to the new tires, it actually gets more grip, so I can go up hills easier when I'm hauling logs and gravel. And it has a nice brake handle that pretty much stops immediately when I hit it. So, yeah, that's my favorite part about the Power Wheel.
Hi guys, Redneckcomputergeek here with Donovan, and we've been running the Power Wheel basically for about a solid summer, and Donovan runs it, helps me out, does chores every single weekend almost, unless it's raining. And then we go mudding. So, either way, it gets run almost every weekend. It's had a solid summer worth of use, and beaten to snot, and hauled logs, hauled gravel, done stupid things with it, and we're just going to do a once-over review and show you dings and scratches, what we learned, what we didn't do right, and a couple of other things. So, here we go. Alright, on a project like this, one of the big things to take a beating is your actual paint job, because inevitably it gets hit, it gets chipped, stuff gets thumped, you name it. The learning experience that I had here was that I wish I had have taken a little more time to do prep on the plastic, and I wish I had have done a primer when I was doing it. If you saw the original videos where the Power Wheel was red, the skin of the plastic was all entirely destroyed, and one of my subscribers actually sent me a thing saying if you hit it with a blowtorch, you can smooth it out. Well, that was great, because it did. It smoothed out everything. It made it so that the plastic was paintable. The problem that I didn't realize was that with the Rust-Oleum paint, I was going to have to go back through, and I was going to have to actually slightly scuff the paint in order for the Rust-Oleum to take effect, which is why you have these areas where it's chipping off now. So that was a learning experience. With the chrome bumper and everything, what you can't see in the video is that it's all wrinkles. And that's because I didn't go across with a primer for the chrome to actually sit on. And that was a learning experience also. I really wish I had gone across all of the chrome areas with a nice, good, high-quality primer, and then gone across it with the chrome paint. I did that on other areas of the Power Wheel, and it looks much better when you're in person. Go ahead.
Hey guys, Dad bought these extra tracks and we upgraded them to bearings, professional bearings, and they made traction better so I can climb hills better without getting a really good head start, and they made steering better. And yeah, I feel like we're gonna use them a lot more next time. Hey guys, Dad bought these new Super Lug tires, and they're good for hauling gravel, and if you have a furnace that runs on logs, these are very good for hauling, and all 4 tires were $170, and these are very good for something like this for starter tires.
As you can see from Johnny spinning it, the Power Wheel has yet to have a locked rear end, because he and I can spin independently from each other. The other thing that we've noticed with the Power Wheel is that the frame flexing has eventually caused the bearings in the rear to blow out. Now, keep in mind this transmission was extremely, extremely well used before we built this project. So we're going to be tearing it down, putting new bearings in. It's got enough play in it at this point that Donovan has actually noticed a clicking in the rear end. It still drives, but the shafts are playing to the point that it's clicking the internal gears. In revisions of this, I'll probably be building a frame that is far more substructure and capable than the one that this was originally built on. But this was a good first attempt. We're going to follow it up with a full tube steel chassis at some point. But for now, we're just going to work on putting new bearings in and locker on the rear end for doing snow plowing this year. I'm going to have Donovan demonstrate how all the internals work, but the one thing I wanted to show was that the top actually pops off and that the clasps that hold it are actually from RVs where they clasp down on cabinets. So they're similar to hood clasps like on a Jeep Wrangler, but these are for cabinetry and they work really well, and they're stainless steel and they haven't rusted being outside all summer. Shh. Go ahead.
This is the brake. As you can see, it's a pull brake. Gas pill, I have no idea what this is actually made from, but
It's a brake off a bike.
it's a brake off of a bike, and it acts as gas pedal, and then this is the shifter. It's a full forward, neutral, reverse shifter, and yeah.
Now, did you find you had to actually rev the engine for it to go into gear?
Sometimes it depends. It really depends. If it's been sitting for a while, then yes. But if it is running, then it depends actually. It really has to depend on the weather.
Okay.
As it gets colder, I have to rev it more to get into gear.
And this here is the cheap Chinese clutch that we ended up buying in order to do the original build. What we found is that eventually it broke free. So as you can see, it's got quite a bit of play. It still works, but the amount of play that's in it, you can actually hear it rattle when Donovan is driving it. So I'm going to run this until it blows and eats itself up, but it is what it is. The headers have worked out good. They haven't melted the plastic at all or anything like that. The heat doesn't seem to come up in underneath too badly. We'll probably put a hot dog muffler on it at some point just to get it a little bit less obscene on the amount of, well, noise that it makes, because it sounds like a Harley when it's driving. We did have to leave the gas vent open, and so on really, really hot days when this gets warm, it does vent gas vapor. That's just one of those things to think about. Alright, stop, because that's making squeaking noises. What? Yeah, we'll go take a look at your power wheel in a little bit. And as far as the engine goes, Johnny, stop. I understand that you found your tool, but I don't need you screaming in the background of a video. With love. Okay? Can Daddy go back to video?
It's mine.
I know that's yours. Can I go back to video?
That's orange.
Okay. Can I do this part?
No.
Okay. Alright, so as far as the engine setup is concerned, this has worked out really well, except for after we upgraded tires, the engine ended up slightly tilted. And that's part of the reason why I want to do a steel two-frame chassis also, is to have the engine on a level area, because these have oil sensors in them. And we've actually run into 2 or 3 situations where the engine actually shuts itself off when you're going uphill if you're sitting on it for too long. Now, that probably would happen anyway, but it probably would happen less if the engine was actually totally level. My little coat hanger fix here has worked really well the entire time. And as you can see, it plays quite nicely. I'd recommend that for anybody who has their gas tank totally removed. I left governor intact because I wanted to make sure that the engine couldn't get totally just revved out and unstoppable. The other thing that you'll notice is by doing the gas pedal idea, the gas pedal actually goes down and hits, and the stroke actually has a little bit more to go. So the gas pedal actually can't hit the full rev of the engine, which I did on purpose because I wanted to make sure yet again that with a young driver who doesn't know how to listen to the engine, it wouldn't get revved out and just throw a rod out the side. As far as a review on these Predator engines, I am very, very happy with this. I love it. In the future, I will be upgrading to a different engine, but that's because we're going to totally pimp this thing out with full working starter, full working ignition, full working lights, and with a full tube steel chassis, we may end up actually putting a winch on it just because we can. Thanks guys for all the support. I hope this video was informative and helps you with your projects in the future. And as always, share, like, and enjoy the channel.